Thank you. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. You know, it's about that time of year where people are starting to think about the upcoming year. They're thinking about New Year's resolutions and changes they're going to make and how they can improve their life quality. Many people, when they reflected on the previous year, they might have found that they didn't wind up that much farther at the end of the year than the year prior. If this seems like something that you've experienced and you have to make this upcoming year a home run, you got to make changes, and you don't want it to be another year where you say, well, okay, this is going to be it, and you don't follow through with what we say, then this is the episode for you. We're going to talk today about simple changes you can make to guarantee to have a better year and to how to have not only a better improvement in your personal life, but in your financial life and all of your relationships as well. Today we have entrepreneur Rick Miller on the show. Smart guy. Rick Miller is an entrepreneur and instructor of the Young Entrepreneur Academy, which is in over 14 states. If you're not associated with the Young Entrepreneur Academy, you're going to want to be. Don't miss this episode. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Come experience Nolan's. Savor award-winning steaks, Greek-style cuisine, fresh local seafood, and an extensive choice of wines. Whether you'd like to reserve the large private dining room, enjoy a meal on an outdoor deck, or rock the night away in our lounge, Nolan's now celebrating 25 years of exceeding your expectations for casual fine dining, live entertainment, and dancing nightly.
When visiting Gulf Shores, Alabama, make sure to visit the Gulf Coast Zoo, home of the little zoo that could from Animal Planet. Get up close in our petting zoo. Enjoy our unique animal encounters. More than 300 monkeys, bears, reptiles, big cats, parrots, and more call a Gulf Coast home. Come on, go wild at the Alabama Gulf Coast Zoo.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Margot Bush. Thank you for joining us, Margot. How have you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
I've been great, or as my little brother would say, super fantastic.
He does. He's
Darren
always,
is here in the audience tonight.
Yeah, every time we talk to him,
He's
every
so
time
upbeat.
I know. He's just like, hello, Darren. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Hello, Darren. He'll say,
he's always super
oh,
fantastic.
I'm super fantastic. How's your day?
Yeah, very charmed life. So, anything new with you? How have you been? Do anything exciting?
I really have not done anything exciting. Went to Atlanta, and I talked to you about that. Mm-hmm. But I've been kind of boring.
I had the weirdest experience. I guess it was last, I don't know, a few nights ago, midweek, Wednesday night maybe. A friend of mine they invited me to go see the new James Bond movie, which has actually been out in the theaters for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to you when I was over in Germany recently, I saw it. But, you know, buddy wants to go see it, and
right.
I mean, Bond,
right.
How can you not go see it again?
You have to see it 2 or 3 times.
So I go to this theater, it's like an 8:45 showing, and we go in, and it's me and him and only one other person in the whole theater, right? Which was great. So we're watching this movie, and it's coming up to the grand climax, the main part where, like, Bond's back at the house he grew up in, and I don't want to give anything away, but it was like the big finale, right?
Right.
And the sound goes out.
Completely.
So, completely out. So it's just a silent film. So we sit there for a couple of minutes thinking it's going to pop back on. And then we say, well, you know, somebody's got to go talk to him. So my buddy gets up. He's gone for 15 minutes. I'm sitting there like, so the movie is over. The credits are all going up. Right? So he comes back in and he says, I can't find anybody. And I said, well, just go to the snack bar. Go get somebody from the snack bar and tell them what's going on.
Right.
He's like, no. There's nobody in this whole theater. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no one's in this movie theater. They left us. And I was like, what? So the other guy behind me is like, this is weird, man. I'll go take care of it. So they both leave. I'm sitting in this theater. The lights are already back on. I'm like, I am watching this movie. I mean, I'm seeing my end, or I am getting some Raisinets and Goobers.
So you're going to make them turn it back on.
They're turning it and they're rewinding
turning it back on.
The whole deal. So like another 30 minutes passes and they come back and they're like, no, seriously, no one's in this movie theater. And
They locked
I said,
you in.
Well, no, and I said, go to the other theaters because it's probably some young people that are watching other movies. They said, no, we went into, it's like a 15, 16 cinemas.
Right.
We went into every theater and all of them are just playing with nobody in there. Like no one's in the whole theater. So we sat there and finally some girl, we round up this girl that comes in and she was with, I guess she stepped out with her boyfriend and they left one girl in charge.
Ooh.
So she goes in the box and she opens the window and she's like, is this far enough back? And then I said, you know, and then she starts the movie again and it's like 10 times louder than she just did it real quick and shut the window. So it's so loud. I said, when we leave here, we're going to be deaf, you know? And so we're like cringing and people are dying and it was nuts, but we toughed it out. And then she had her everybody, you know, they gave us a free ticket to come back, but it was so weird because I go in for an 8:45 showing. I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning.
No.
To see, 1 a.m. And it was bizarre. But anyways, I was just ranting. But it's a great movie. Don't let it inhibit you from seeing James Bond.
That is so funny.
What are you going to do? Only stuff like that would happen to me.
I know, only stuff like that happens to you. Now, I know that you're doing something about social media. And
I am. I'm not doing
tell me a little bit
something with social media, but I've agreed. I was asked to be a part of a documentary, a film coming up called The Social Media Experiment. And it takes a guy that has had some successes, but is like clueless when it comes to social media and the computer, you know, internet and how all that
you
works.
are perfect.
Yeah, and I told them that. They said, we thought of you. And I said,
Trust
I don't know if that's like a compliment or not. But so it's this guy that doesn't know anything about social media. And then basically, I'm going to do log a submission every day. And I want to become very efficient, or I'm going to become very efficient at social media in 3 months. And the reason why is, as you know, I'm very involved with different organizations with children. We do a lot of backpack programs. I have a 5-year-old. So the objective is I'm doing all this to use my new skill sets because we have a goal by the end of the film to raise a minimum of 100,000 pounds of food for children. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Great.
So I wouldn't get off my own butt for my own career, but hey, the kids are involved, man. I'll learn it if I have to. I will do it.
You know what? One thing I'm proud of you is that you actually admit that you cannot do social media.
I've sent like 5 emails in my life, and I actually sent my first email 3 or 4 months ago. It went through, and I said, did it go through? And I mean, that's how dark ages I am. But I'm excited about the film. We have a lot of really cool people and friends and even some celebrities that have kind of agreed to make an appearance in the film. And what's really cool is we're going to shoot a large portion of it, probably the majority of it, in this area. So it'll allow some people that are with social media or proficient at social media to maybe have a small role in the film and get some exposure out there. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to our guest tonight, Rick Miller. I don't know. He's
great. He's a great guy.
Fantastic guy. Done a lot for entrepreneurialism in this region, and actually, I should say, nationwide. His kind of brainchild has now gone into 14 different states, and really smart guy, Harvard educated. So stay with us. We'll be right back with entrepreneur Rick Miller. Don't go anywhere.
Come experience Nolan's. Savor award-winning steaks, Greek-style cuisine, fresh local seafood, and an extensive choice of wines. Whether you'd like to reserve the large private dining room, enjoy a meal on an outdoor deck, or rock the night away in our lounge, Nolan's now celebrating 25 years of exceeding your expectations for casual fine dining, live entertainment, and dancing nightly.
offers incredible opportunities, low prices, and extremely low interest rates. Hi, I'm Amy Norris from Amy Sells the Beach. Right now, there are opportunities in all areas. Our team can help you put your money to work finding your dream or investment property. And if you're looking to sell, no one can give you better exposure to buyers and make your property stand out. Experience matters when looking for opportunity. I'm Amy Norris. See why we're #1 at amysellsthebeach.com.
Thank you. Our guest tonight is a really great guy. I'm getting to know him. He's quickly becoming one of my best friends, I think. Rick Miller, everybody.
I'm glad you came.
Hey, buddy.
Great to see you again.
Same here.
All right, Rick, how are you, my friend?
I'm great.
I was saying you're quickly becoming one of my best. I know we sat down last week and had lunch.
Yeah.
And we wound up talking about the seminar business and the stuff that you have going on and a few of the things that I have going on. You told me about Young Entrepreneurs Academy as well, and I see you brought the lovely Gabrielle. Yes. Is that right? I'm sure all the young boys at home are like, who is this? Our young viewership will go immediately up. Yeah. But it's a real pleasure to have you. And tell us a little bit about, I know you've been really instrumental in helping entrepreneurs for quite some time in this area. But tell me a little bit first about your background. Were you raised in a family that was entrepreneurial? Did they kind of in place those things? Or did you have to kind of, like most of us, go against the grain and say, I'm not going to do a job. This is what I'm going to do?
Well, I'll tell you, you and I were talking about this, that really, I tell people that, you know, you already mentioned that I have an MBA, but I tell people really that I was a paperboy MBA. Because everything that I honestly learned about being an entrepreneur, I learned between the ages of 10 and 14.
Wow.
I grew up in a traditional middle-class family, but everybody, if you wanted something, you needed to go work for it. I saw that the paper route when you're underage was one of the few ways you could make money, and I literally worked for a year for free to put myself in a position so that when the next route opened up, I was it. So I tell people, you know, in terms of entrepreneurship, a lot of entrepreneurs spend that first year working for nothing.
That's right.
And I learned it. I just didn't know I was learning it at the time. Yeah. And then going through that, I had a dream about wanting either a guitar or a motorcycle, and luckily I chose the motorcycle. But the paper route was something I did, was just my dream, was what drove me to do that. And I learned a lot about the whole nature of distribution, business, collection, from dealing with people, and customer service.
Yeah, customer service.
So given that, I then go through all that extra education and everything, and then figured out after I had my MBA that everything I learned there, I probably already knew if I had thought back about those first 4 years.
Well, on a Harvard MBA, that's not cheap. You know, there was a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of money going in that, and I think we talked about this. We've maybe both had situations say, man, we didn't need to spend all that money.
Amen.
If I would have really paid attention to things early on. But it's great. That's a great story. You know, it's interesting because I had read an article recently that Sean Combs, or P. Diddy or Puff Daddy, or whatever they call him these days, actually said the same thing. You know, when he was very young, he had a paper route. Right. And then he didn't realize he was learning all the skill sets then. And then he started delegating out and acquiring more. But he says the first year I just basically threw papers for free to get some learning, and most of what he does today is because of that experience.
Absolutely.
So, well, it's great to have you back, and let me ask you, when did you kind of figure out, I mean, you mentioned that you had this paper route, but you kind of made the transition of, okay, I have this paper route, but instead of doing something entrepreneurial or kind of doing your own thing, you're now figuring out, like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, is I have a vision, I want to help people, and get into something where I can, you know, affect the masses in with a positive message. When did you kind of figure that out?
Well, I spent about 25 years after my MBA migrating from the, quote, traditional large corporations down to smaller startups, started some ventures, and kept finding myself more attracted to the whole concept of let's take an idea, run with it, and then create a business and see where we can go with it. So I had moved my family back here from the Northwest with the child, kind of like you've got a little one, I did too. And so I'm here, and I started doing consulting. And literally a few years ago, as everyone around here knows, the oil spill happened.
Right.
As a result of that, we were very fortunate in that there were foundations that were from New York, Rockefeller, and some local foundations decided they wanted to put some money in here to help businesses come back and also to help start businesses, become more resilient. Out of that came the Coastal Resiliency Coalition, which was a coalition of the Chamber of Commerce's, the cities, the Tourism Board, and Faulkner State, the local community college. They set up a business support center, and they asked me to run it, saying, Rick, would you help, given your expertise, with all these businesses that are either they're hurting because of the nature of what that oil spill did to our economy, or if they have an idea and they want to try to grow something, can you help them get that business started? Well, that was right up my wheelhouse, and I was very fortunate to get that opportunity, and that's what we've been doing.
So you really you're the guy that's taken it from the beginning stage startup of like, they have this vision, and then basically from the vision all the way, that's where you're picking it up.
Yeah, we do three things there. The first one's counseling. And counseling is where somebody comes in and they say, I've got an idea, can you help me? A restaurant, I've got a video business, whatever it is. And we try to basically help them do a business plan, kind of think through it, do it right. We also do connecting to where somebody's got a business and they're saying, we're just not doing that well. So we will try to connect them with either the right person they need or the right business. And then the third thing we did is just on a general basis, we're trying to help all businesses. So we've been putting together programs like 5-star hospitality, customer service training, and others. And out of that, we got an opportunity through the South Baldwin Chamber, one of our sponsors, to start this. They said, this Young Entrepreneur Academy is in 14 states, but they're not in Alabama.
Right.
And would you want to work with that? And I said, you bet.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because, I didn't realize that you not only work with startups, but you also intervene. Like if somebody's been running a business for a long time and it hasn't really grabbed hold and had traction, maybe they don't have the right alliances, but they're efficient at what they do, you'll even help existing companies. But I want to take a quick break, and when I come back, I want to find out more about the Young Entrepreneur Academy and kind of what you're doing and what you're doing for these amazing kids in the community. Stay with us. We'll be right back more with Rick Miller in a second.
Real estate today offers incredible opportunities, low prices, and extremely low interest rates. Hi, I'm Amy Norris from Amy Sells the Beach. Right now, there are opportunities in all areas. Our team can help you put your money to work finding your dream or investment property. And if you're looking to sell, no one can give you better exposure to buyers and make your property stand out. Experience matters when looking for opportunity. I'm Amy Norris. See why we're #1 at amysellsthebeach.com.
When visiting Gulf Shores, Alabama, make sure to visit the Gulf Coast Zoo, home of the little zoo that could from Animal Planet. Get up close in our petting zoo. Enjoy our unique animal encounters. More than 300 monkeys, bears, reptiles, big cats, parrots, and more call Gulf Coast home. Come on, go wild at the Alabama Gulf Coast Zoo.
Come experience Nolan's. Savor award-winning steaks, Greek-style cuisine, fresh local seafood, and an extensive choice of wines. Whether you'd like to reserve the large private dining room, enjoy a meal on an outdoor deck, or rock the night away in our lounge, Nolan's, now celebrating 25 years of exceeding your expectations for casual fine dining, live entertainment, and dancing nightly.
Hi, I'm Dan Vega, host of the Gulf Coast's favorite new talk show, Tuesdays with Dan. Join us every Tuesday where we'll share success principles and hear from your favorite celebrity guests and entrepreneurs. Check us out late night after Jimmy Kimmel and The Insider or on My 35 at 8 a.m. You won't want to miss it. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. We're here with Rick Miller. Now, Rick, we were talking before the break about now going into this Young Entrepreneurial Academy. Tell us a little bit about the Academy and what type of people participate.
Sure, happy to. The Young Entrepreneur Academy grew out of a Kauffman Foundation grant in 2004 to the University of Rochester up in New York.
Yep.
The grant was to help foster entrepreneurship and social skills working in the business community for young students. It was designed for middle school and high school students to come up with an idea that they were passionate about, and then the program was structured to help them take that from the idea all the way through the business plan, a presentation to investors, and actually put them in business. That became so popular that the Chamber of Commerce in Rochester picked it up, and from there the U.S. Chamber picked it up, and now 8 years later it's grown to where chambers throughout 14 states and about 30 locations have all decided this is a great way to make sure that we include entrepreneurship in the educational process at an early enough age, as you and I had talked about, to make a difference.
So the age range that you work with generally is?
It's anywhere from 13, 14 years old up to 19.
Mm-hmm. So really in that time before they still think big, they don't have all those paradigms of, hey man, this isn't gonna work, that's not gonna work, but they still kind of have that free thinking and think big. So
let me tell you, the 7 entrepreneurs that we had, that we started the program at a local high school in Foley High School, as a matter of fact, their ideas were so big, Dan, I spent the first week trying to get them back into the room. I mean, they were
from a guy that has an MBA at Harvard, it's like, this is too big, let's wind it down.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, tell us a little bit about Gabrielle. We have Gabrielle Griffin here, and what amazing. I like your ring, by the way, too. I've been staring at it. But tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing and what she's involved in in the program.
I'm going to introduce Gabrielle and then let you talk to her, because she can tell you all about her business herself. But Gabrielle is somebody who moved here and hadn't been in this area for very long, but's always had a dream of having a business. Her family has been in business. She's got more entrepreneurial roots than I do. So she's basically taken an idea that she knew about and literally let the market feedback of family dinners and things suggest to her that this is something she wants to do. Not only did she come up with the idea, but when I started doing the traditional MBA questioning, what about the cost? What about this or that?
Sure.
She not only had it costed out, but she even was explaining to the other entrepreneurs in this little academy as to why she used higher quality flour.
Yeah, okay, and how in the long term you're going to save money by going quality.
She understood quality, and there's nothing I could teach her on
that. Wow.
So.
Well, and I know that with any business that has a product or a service, you have to go out to the streets and beta test. You can't theorize everything in a classroom and say, theoretically this should work, and if we buy right and we sell right. You got to go to the streets at some point and beta test and see what the vibe is on the street and see how it's being, how well it's received. And I know that you've done that. Tell us a little bit about the idea that you have.
My idea I have come up with is selling tortillas, actually, bigger than the normal size, and also they're organic.
Okay. Obviously, you can go to a grocery store and you can buy tortillas everywhere, or at least somewhat here in this area. But when did you have the idea of, like, you know what, I think I can not only make good tortillas, but I can have a business where people will respond favorably? What kind of helped you get that mindset of, like, this could be a business?
All right, because actually this past Thanksgiving, it just passed, I had actually made dozens and dozens of tortillas, and I had put so much work into it, and they were gone in an instant. And I had thought, wow, since, not only my family, but friends also liked them a lot. And I was actually getting money from my family for me to make even more.
So all the uncles are calling you saying, like, hey man, how much would a dozen be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you knew it would work, you knew they were good, and you knew that you figured out that the costs could be where you needed to be to make profit.
Right.
And have you had, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 14.
14, wow. They're figuring it out young.
Yeah.
They're figuring it out quickly. And what's great is I could see how passionate you are. A lot of people wouldn't come up with the idea of, like, tortillas. But, I always say, and I don't know if you agree, Rick, that you have to do what you're passionate about. You know, you have to do, sometimes people will get an idea that they feel like is a moneymaker, and they might like the idea, but they don't love it. They don't have that real deep passion, and they might think it's something that they should be doing versus where their heart is. And if there's a choice, I tell them, you know what? Do what you're the hottest, you know, your temperature is the hottest at. Go where the passion is. Generally, that's probably one of the recipes to success. Is you gotta love it. And so it's great that you have kind of embraced that. Now, is there an idea of possibly when we'll be able to get our hands on some of these tortillas?
Hopefully soon.
Okay, well, we'll look for that. And guys, we really appreciate you coming on the show. What's the next big plans, Rick, for you?
Well, I think this program we're going to continue to go through, because what I did mention earlier was we help them develop a business plan. We give them a set of mentors. Hopefully we're going to talk you into being one.
Okay.
But they do a presentation before a panel of investors, and we get them set up. So it's, you know, just keeping these 7 entrepreneurs going is a lot. And also with the Business Support Center, every day is a day where somebody walks in and says, "Can you help me?" So, I mean, how good is that?
That's great. And do you give like a presentation upcoming to a board of potential investors? Is that coming up soon?
In April, we will, and everyone that's in this local audience is welcome to come, that we will use the Foley Civic Center. They will be given a 6-minute presentation with a giant screen before a panel of investors. And also, the best presentation gets to go up to Rochester to compete for what they call the Sanders Scholarship, which is a full college scholarship as a result of the best presentation.
Wow.
So it's pretty awesome.
Well, listen, it's been a real pleasure, Rick, having you on the show. Gabrielle as well, lovely. We appreciate both of you being on the show. And anything I can do to get involved and help out, I surely want to do it. We're actually out of time, but that's our show. And please come back anytime, both of you, and keep us informed of how things are going. That's our show, and don't forget to get involved in your local community and be forgiving of others. Good night, everybody.